I'd like to introduce a special person to you this evening. His name is Tom Slater, and Tom's overcome a strong addiction, and Tom's going to make his way up here and share his story with all of you. And give a warm upper room welcome to Tom.
I'd go nuts if I had to sit down, and my wife knows that all too well. She's cringing right now because, as you see, no notes, no PowerPoint, I just go. So I have an early flight tomorrow morning. I promised Ben I'd stay on time. My name is Tom Slater. Everybody asked me at church this morning, they said they didn't recognize me when I wasn't in my bathing suit and really overweight. So anybody that's seen the news or seen any articles in USA Today over the last few weeks, they've told my story. It's not really news to us, as this was a couple years ago that I lost a ton of weight. But my name's Tom Slater. I'm a local guy. Grew up in Westlake. My wife and I live in Olmsted Falls with my 2 kids. Been around a long time, and I do have a testimony check in the house. I saw Mary Spector, so anything I say can be checked by one of my first carpool drivers from back in the good old days. So there will be no tale telling. But grew up in the area, don't have a whole lot of background to a testimony. I wasn't one of those guys that was in a ditch and had the great voice and they pulled me out and now the Cavs are going to hire me. I don't have that story going on. I was just a pretty normal guy, living a pretty normal life, I thought. I was pretty athletic, played basketball, played college volleyball, and life was going along great. I was a churchgoer. Dad was a pastor down the street, and as normal pastor's kids, I got in a lot of trouble, but nothing major. Didn't end up in jail, anything like that. Just got yelled at a lot and called into a lot of offices. So right here, locally, met my beautiful bride who's in the back, Stacy, and we started a family and relocated into Olmsted Falls, and life was going good. I was a little heavier than I was in high school, and I graduated at about the weight I'm at today of 160 pounds, but I ballooned toward close to 300 pounds, and never really thought I had a problem. A couple years go by, and you just buy bigger pants or wear sweatpants or whatever. I can make it work. So one thing led to another. My job got me on the road more and more, and it was really interesting as you walk through, the different points that you talk to. They really rang true and they rang home with me because I had 2 different masters in my journey, and I'll tell you about the first one. It was food, and boy, did I love food. Still do. Every day I love food. Walk by a tray. Stacy knows they take the food away at the end of dinner. I'll just eat everything that's on the table. That's just my gig. I love food. But I have a bigger master who's helping me get through that. And I boosted my way up to 288 pounds, fought my way down to 134 pounds, and I'm back to a healthy weight of 162 pounds today. So I did lose 154 pounds. I was 54% body fat, dropped to 7.2% body fat. Didn't have personal trainers. I didn't do Jenny Craig. I didn't do anything. I just made up my own thing, and my wife and I learned as we went. And she helped me and supported me along the way. And I look back and wish I would have been on Biggest Loser and made some money, but that didn't work out quite right. So I was on cholesterol meds, high blood pressure, the whole gig. This all started in January of 2008, so this is only 3 years removed that I was about 288 pounds. My wife and I were sitting on the couch, and remember it like it was yesterday. She kind of looked over at me. We were watching The Biggest Loser, and she said, "Honey, you say you can do this, enough, when are you going to do it?" And I said, "Well, tomorrow. What do you think I should lose, 20 pounds? And here I am at 288, 20 pounds going to do it?" She's like, "No, you can lose 50. And I was like, "You're crazy." So about the first 6 weeks or so, I started moving a little bit, eating a little bit different, and 20 pounds came off real quick. And about that time, I was heading out to Vegas with some college buddies, and Stacy had a brother that had terminal cancer. He was diagnosed at the age of 30. And he had fought it 7 years, and I got a call. He had taken kind of a turn for the worse, and so by the time I got back, things weren't going real well, and within a week or so, Jamie passed, and I had to watch that. She was his primary caregiver, and The kids saw it, I saw it, and there I was, dealing with food. And here was a guy flying back and forth dealing with a terminal life sentence. He was told, 6 months, and he fought it 7 years. And I had no excuse. But boy, I kept eating the donuts and I kept eating the pizzas because it was comfortable, I liked it. So you do what you like, right? Whether it's a drug, whether it's alcohol, whether it's looking at things online, whether it's your BlackBerry, whatever it is, it's addiction. And the 6 questions that were up there, I kind of looked at the guy that asked me those questions and I said, so what does it mean if you say yes to all 6? He said, you probably got a pretty serious problem. And food was my problem. And I thought I could solve it. I thought I could be the man. And to a degree, on a scale, I did solve it. But we have a wonderful creator, and that creator will humble you, and he'll put you in your place real quick. And so my food addiction turned into a fitness addiction. And I spiraled into a place that I almost killed myself. And I think it was the 3rd or 4th question. I know it by heart, but what are you doing to the people you love? And I about wrecked my marriage. I about wrecked my whole family life over ellipticals, recumbent bikes, whatever it took, because I was going to be the healthiest person in the world. And I never wanted to go back to what it was because I was scared. And I didn't want to be back on cholesterol medication. I didn't want to be 300 pounds again. And I didn't want to hear it from anybody. I had every excuse known to man. I put up walls. So I went from the first master of food to the fitness master. And anybody that walks around would see pictures of me and they'd think, boy, you beat it. I didn't beat anything. I tried to do things on my own. I tried to take control of a situation that I thought I could control. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on until it was too late. And thank God I have a spouse that stood by me. I had kids that were understanding. I had family members all around me to support me. I'm a real good salesperson. I had the top sales team in the country for FedEx office. Stacy and I went on fun trips. I can sell to anybody. So when people tried to tell me I had a problem, I could tell you otherwise. I could sell you up and down. I could sell you around. I don't need to work out. I'm just good. And off I'd run, and I'd figure out a way to walk up and down a hill or do whatever it took. But I'm good. It's all good. And you'll justify and you rationalize and you dig it deeper and deeper. And before you know it, you're so good at lying, you don't know who you told what to or where you're at. And so we had a long journey up the food road and a long journey down the fitness road. And the only thing that turned things around for me were a few of those points you heard. At one point, I had to realize as strong a personality as I am and as strong a person I am, there's only one person that I could hand this thing over. My wife and I got baptized together. And we went under that water and we came back up, and I thought it was plug and play, man. I thought it was like, here's the diet that's just going to work. I'm going to come up and be new. I'm not going to have to work at it. I'm just going to get baptized and it'll be better. And it got worse. And I got worse. Because I didn't give control over to the one that could take care of me. The verse, be still and know that I am God, rings true in my heart every day. And it's because it's not that I didn't believe it, I didn't trust it. I was in exercise mode, so it rang real true to me to be still. I needed to sit on a couch and shut it down, or I was going to kill myself riding 30 miles on the bike. And anybody that puts that type of thing up on a TV, they'll glorify it. Wow, look what this guy did. Look who he was. I went and joined a gym. I joined a gym so I would work out less, because the gym I had in my basement, I spent, you ask my wife and my kids, I got home, I went in the basement, I worked out, whether it was lifting weights, riding a bike, whatever it was. That was my God. So I joined a gym to work out less. And when I was going in that gym every day, not one personal trainer or anybody else said, you know what, son, you probably should shut it down. You're looking like a walking bag of bones. You're a skeleton, you're a zombie. And I would have probably had a line for him and told him how I was making myself better. But I had those two masters, and it took a lot to understand that whether you're addicted to drugs, to booze, to food, to fitness, that's not really the problem. That's a manifestation of the problem. There's something else there. There's a reason you're doing these things. And you may always be addicted to alcohol. I know I'm always going to be addicted to food. And you need to understand how to cope with it. You need to understand how to keep yourself out of those situations. But you need to learn what the real trigger is and what the driver is. And you know, I would tell anybody today if they said, why is it you did this stuff? I never understood, but I was probably one, if not the most selfish person in the United States of America. And what I did for me. I would say I lost weight for my wife and my kids because I saw what she went through with her brother, and I'm the noblest man alive. That's what I wanted people to think. I wanted everybody to think, boy, look at this guy. Give him some type of award. He's the greatest person ever. It was selfish. It was all selfish. I started for a good reason, but then it went a bit awry. So, you know, as Ben kind of tied this all together and he had these verses and he walked through all this, it rings very true to me, because it might be your BlackBerry, it could be Facebook, it could be your job, it could be shopping. Who knows what it is? Only you know. But if you search yourself and you search yourself in your heart and think about who is truly your master. I got a long way to go to make my master happy, but he loves me and he's going to be there for me, and he knows that I can change. And thank God I had a family that knows it's not going to happen overnight, but we know that if you're going to try and do this, we're going to be there for you. And so I don't have a whole lot of other things to tell you all, except I will back up 100% everything you just heard up on there. And if you have something that you heard those questions and you started thinking a little bit, dig into it a little deeper, because it could be anything. And it doesn't need to be at a level to which mine got. You don't need to balloon up, 20 pant sizes and then realize you got a problem and work your way back down. And there's nothing wrong with getting in shape and doing things the right way. You got to think about why you're doing things and what you're doing things for. I mentioned earlier I was on the Fox 8 News and the Channel 5 News, and they talk to you about a lot of things. And then when they put you on for the minute or two, they decide, what picture they want to paint and what they want to talk about. So a lot of this piece to the message doesn't always get out there, and I'm really glad that you all could be up here tonight. And hopefully you can take some of this. If you ever have any thoughts, questions, ideas, I can let Ben know how to get a hold of us. But we all need to hold each other accountable. And if you see something going a little bit wrong, it never hurts to ask your brother or sister in Christ, are you okay? Are things going okay here? Because I can't tell you. My wife can back me up. We're churchgoers. We're there every week. And it wasn't until I came out of my funk and put my weight back on and got healthy, everybody in the church said, boy, you're looking good now. And it drove me nuts. I'd go to my wife and go, how come when everybody thought I wasn't looking good, nobody had any guts to say anything to me? If we don't hold each other accountable, it can't spark it. So you need to be part of little groups, and you need to make sure that if you love somebody in Christ, ask them lovingly in Christ, are you okay? Is there something going on here? Something I can pray for you about? That's how you break through, and that's how you break through it together. So I know I ramble in a lot of different directions, but the three key pieces are, I had two different masters, and now I've given it over to the one true master, and I got a long way to go. But until I understood at the core what my problem was and answered those questions honestly before my family and before him, I couldn't get better. And boy, it feels so good once you get mentally healthy and once you get your heart healthy, that you never want to go back to those problems. So I'll always be addicted to food. I still twitch a little bit when I walk by a workout room, but my wife and I have found a way to walk with the dogs and lift a little bit of weights and stay healthy, and that's what you got to do. So I thank you all for your time, and I thank you for inviting us out here. Ben and Stacy have known each other a long time, so it was good for that connection to happen. And back to you.